Things are not looking good for this car in 2024. There is no doubt you see less of these on the road, and there's also no doubt that you see less parts available for these in the aftermarket scene. The Mazda 3 was never one of those cars you would buy to modify or modify them after a few years of owning them back when they were new. Now the catalog, when they were new, the aftermarket parts were pretty good, and even Mazda had their own line of Mazda Speed branded parts for the Mazda 3s. Obviously in the upcoming years, now that this car's been out for about 20 years now, that stuff is just kind of very non-existent. I'm getting ready to daily drive my 2007 Mazda 3. I need to take out the suspension that I put in it a few months ago, retighten everything. I never torqued anything, I just kind of threw it in there. Do just a little bit of adjustability, and then I should be able to drive it. So while I do that today, we're gonna be talking about what's the mod scene look like for Mazda 3 in 2024. I will be taking my coilovers out. I need to take some camber adjustment out due to this not sitting properly. I could cut this out, but it's not necessary. Also thinking about running one of those spacers, the 3 mils I have, but if I take some camber out, then I don't think that will be necessary. It might, but spacers are something I could just throw on and off. I just want to deal with this today. Suspension availability in 2024, better than none. There is not a lot of stuff out there anymore. Pretty much all the essentials. I don't think you'll ever run out of coilovers. I think there will always be coilovers. Adjustable front end links are getting, I think, a little bit more rare. I think you'll find more universal ones actually dedicated, which you gotta be careful because we've also found end links that rub against your front brake line, and that is not good. These are cheap universal ones. As for other than that, inside of here, there's not a whole lot of aftermarket stuff. Front sway bars are always readily available. You can get like polyurethane bushings for like your control arm and your sway bar bushings as well. Suspension's not bad, honestly. If you do like you're looking around and stuff, there's no doubt that you will find what you're looking for. I think camber plates are pretty accessible, if I'm not mistaken, for OEM suspension as well. If for whatever reason you want camber plates for your OEM suspension, very accessible. That's like coilovers. I don't think they'll ever run out. Normally in the situation that you do get a set of coilovers, top hats or camber plates for the top will come with them. At least I hope you bought a set of coilovers that were good enough to supply them. Okay, so the fronts are down, put back together. It does look a lot better, but there is still more work to do once these get settled in. Now for the back, I actually don't need to do much except just tighten the rear shocks down. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lift it up and take a little looky poo in there. Now, in terms of rear suspension, rear camber arms are actually pretty common to come around. However, adjustable rear end links are actually kind of hard to come around now. I was trying to find some, and well, I couldn't really find any except a couple options. Take that into consideration, that rear end links will probably be a universal thing of one day. I am already regretting this stance phase that I am in. I'm just tightening the top hat bolt real quick. Just making sure that baby don't go nowhere. Putting wheels on, shocks are done. Then we will explore the rest of the car and see what else might not be coming back for mods. Actually, while I'm putting the wheels on, we could talk about the rear end of the car. If you guys didn't watch the last video, I did the LED OEM brake taillights. and I actually got rid of my aftermarket ones that were on the car. There are about 2 aftermarket options, which includes the ones I took off. I will show you here in a second. Another one, which I like to call the LED honeycomb. Quite literally, the corner of the lens is a honeycomb. The hatchbacks, can still find them for sedans. These are the ones I was talking about. These are called Spider LED taillights for the sedans. You can't get these for the hatch. Now this colorway is actually rare. Trying to find one with the red inlay is pretty much impossible, and you can only find them with the clear inlay, and normally when you look for these, you can only find them tinted. They used to come in a clear lens. Now they only come normally tinted. So these are coming pretty obsolete, but I think they still make them, just a limited selection of what they used to be. So it only leaves you down to pretty much 2 options for the taillights. This is custom made. This is an OEM third brake light with the red inlay taken out, and I stole the LED from an LED. That's you can't get this unless you custom make it. These are so common that you could buy them from pretty much any place on the planet. The corner LEDs, these ones I think you can like use up to 3rd generation, so I don't think these will go rare. Neither will these, but the tail lights and the third brake light option is a bit of a tricky one. These are getting a little bit more rare as the years go by. That is why I went with the OEM LED, because they are beautiful. It's a beautiful tail light. Now another thing with the Mazda 3 trunk, no one makes pretty much an aftermarket lip for these except kind of like a little plastic lip that comes up. It's very small, it's a waste of money in my opinion. The only thing that's really available is the OEM kind of little trunk lip, but unfortunately nothing was made aftermarket. So unfortunately the sedans and duckbills have to be some sort of custom mold. I guess while I'm down here, I can talk about body kits. I hope you guys can see me. There are still lots of fiberglass body kits you can find for these cars. Unfortunately, they were designed, they belong in Tokyo Drift, and they're all fiberglass, which you probably don't want. I don't think I've seen a body kit on a Mazda 3 sedan ever since they were made. I don't think anyone's ever rocked one. They just don't look too good. That means you can change your rear bumper, but again, you're really limited to the options that are still around. I think these places are trying to just get rid of what they have because no one's buying them. So unfortunately, they're not the prettiest things. So yeah, nothing really ever came out for the back of these cars, unfortunately. Hatchbacks have like the speed wings, that's not really aftermarket. Now, for the engine bay of these cars, well, as you can see, there's not a whole lot. Strut bars still exist. I think a couple people still make those, which is good. You can get aftermarket passenger motor mounts, aftermarket rear motor mounts. The transmission mount, I think only 1 or 2 places still provide those, just because the transmission mount's just a little bit different from the speed. Normally a lot of this stuff that you're going to buy is branded as Mazda speed. You can do intakes, still quite a bit of those around. Short ram, the cold airs are a little bit more rare, getting rare, especially this Mazda speed. OEM intake is like obsolete, especially for these cars. Exhaust manifolds are basically impossible to come around. Believe me, I just can't find them at all, even if you try. Intake manifolds, I know a couple people, I think one brand still makes those, but well, they don't really, I've heard a lot of stories about these is that they don't help this motor, so not really worth it. Other than that, if there's anything else that I am missing, please let me know. But as for engine bays goes, from stuff you can get, there's not a whole lot for this car. There are still a couple people making catback exhaust, but again, the brands that you normally would see, I think, are starting to get a little bit more scarce. I think catback exhaust for these cars will still be around for a little bit longer, in quite a while, but I think they will start to phase out sooner or later. But I think there will always something be available for it. Continuing on the side of the car, you can find things like side skirts. There's a couple aftermarket options. Again, those are getting pretty rare. You normally find those used. These you can find everywhere. These are really, really common. Now, for the front of the car, front lips are getting really rare for specific bumpers. The front Duraflex open mouth grille, those are still somewhat common. And custom headlights, well, getting headlights already made, again, there are actually options for those. You just have to ask around. Aftermarket pedals, you can find Mazda speed reps. I don't think similar like these. I haven't looked, to be honest. Aftermarket steering wheels, there are a couple brands that make these in like Asia that you can find. They have like the flat bottom wheel. Again, a couple also brands in the States make these. Same wheel as the Mazda Speed 3. So aftermarket wheels are actually pretty cool. Custom gauges. don't even bother. Short throw shifters, really hard to find, but eBay still has some, but you probably won't find the ones that stick up straight. This is like OEM Mazda speed accessory. The ones that you will probably find on eBay will probably sit like this on from there. Like, this is what neutral looks like. It's kind of geared towards the driver, which is fine, depending on what you want. Ionin will always have screens available. Like, you'll find these everywhere. Amazon, Wish, they all have these big screens. Those are always common to find. Aftermarket seats are, well, these are Mazda Speed seats. So as long as you can find a Mazda Speed 3 in the junkyard, then you got some aftermarket seats. Other than that, for the interior, that's pretty much as basic as it gets. The floor mats, I know these are pretty much readily available unless they are out of stock now. I could be wrong, but I only found these recently, so I think they're kind of a newer edition that just came out recently, which is cool to have though. So with that all being said, to be honest, as someone that's been in the Mazda 3 community for so long, yes, parts are getting more rare. Things are, you know, starting to kind of disappear. And it's been faster than you think. Mazda, the first gen Mazda 3 sedans, hatchbacks, like, I see less and less on the road. So there is definitely less demand, and I don't think there was really a big demand at the beginning anyway. So please know that if you guys go into this and you're looking for something that you can kind of just bolt on, play with, buy things online, and just go with, that's probably not your platform. Again, it's not a car that's common in the scene, so a lot of people aren't making parts for these, and the people that are making parts for these are starting to skim out on that. That being said, should you modify your Mazda 3 in 2024? Again, I say yes, because at the end of the day, all you need to do to have a decent looking car is a set of coilovers, lowering springs, and wheels that makes the car a personality. Then you add things on top of it, and you just have to have a little bit of creativity and DIY. And I mean, you can do anything that you pretty much want. A lot of the stuff is custom and you can't buy it in places, but that's just part of the game when you have a car that's less relevant in the car scene. That being said, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a like on the video, comment down below. Other than that, keep it real. I'll see y'all in the next one.